Hey, welcome back to an episode of Instagram Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and as always, my co-hosts are with me. Hey, Trip.
What's up, man?
Nothing, chilling, you know.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to talk about this week?
Is it Yasuke?
Yeah, I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about finding out if God is real and then killing him.
Oh, okay. I was like, what do you...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can do that, for sure.
Okay, cool. Just like as a B story for this episode.
Yeah,
Anyways, we're talking about Yasuke. It's the new Netflix show that's being made by Lesean Thomas and Flying Lotus and Lakeith Stanfield. And we've got some opinions on it.
Yeah. My opinion is watch Samurai Champloo, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and mine is watch Dororo. So if you take both of ours, put them together, you're having a great time. That's all that matters.
Just go check this out. But we'll get into it. There's I would say there's like some positive things. So that's
I would say there's positives. Anyways, how have you been? How's the last week been, man? It's been a long time. It's been 7 days.
It's been 7 days. Yeah,
we've talked a lot in between there.
We haven't. I haven't seen you in 7 days. It's been really crazy.
Well, okay, yeah, you haven't seen me in 7 days. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So in the last 7 days, I think we've killed rats twice, haven't we?
Has it been twice? That sounds right.
Yeah, I think
I would say twice. Yeah,
one was like Friday, and then we killed rats yesterday. 2 days ago, Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, we've been killing rats. Yeah,
we have been killing rats.
Also, before we talk about killing rats, happy Cinco de Mayo, guys. That's today, which is the day we're recording. Tomorrow's just the 6th of May. And we are a holiday podcast. That is the Instagram podcast stance. So this episode is celebrating everything Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, man. So it's a Mexican themed episode. That's why we're talking about Yasuke.
yeah, pretty sure. I forgot to say that up top. Anyways, so we played some more Vermintide 2. This time we decided to play with our friend Eliza, and we were going to play with our friend Kyle, but Kyle couldn't play Vermintide 2 with us because he had to play Warhammer, which we were like, but we want you to play Warhammer with us, and he's just like, no, I got to play Warhammer. So we're like, okay. Eliza,
and his plans got canceled. Yeah. It was too late.
Yeah,
he already gave me the response of just pretty much don't count on me.
Exactly. And so we're like, cool, we need another person. And Eliza said she would only play if there was a Kyle playing. Lucky for me, I have an excess amount of friends named Kyle.
Yeah.
So I hit up my friend Kyle I went to college with, and asked him if he'd play. He said he'd be down. We were going to start playing it at 8, and then Kyle forgot to download the game.
But it's not just a fucking game. It is
the world's biggest game.
It is a 90 gig game, which can take people a long time to download. For people like me who depend on doing podcast stuff, I make sure that I have good internet because I don't want anything to get fucked up. Uploading, downloading, anything. For people like Kyle, he is very similar where he doesn't want stuff to get fucked up, but his internet had different plans.
Yeah, it was just not working. He had told me earlier that week that his older brother had been fucking around with his internet router and server. He changed his IP. I was like, why? Why would you do that? He was doing a bunch of stuff. So I can't. Maybe it's some like residue or fallout from that. But yeah. So Kyle listened to you, me, and Eliza play for a bit, and eventually got in. We wanted to play. What was it called? It's called like Chaos something.
Yeah, it's the Chaos Wastes.
Yeah, so the Wastes.
That okay. The way that this game works is think Left 4 Dead. So there's just a bunch of enemies and you just kill them all together and have a crazy fun time. But each character that you play has special abilities that affect things. Whether it's just from playing the game normally or using your special attack effect thing. Sometimes it knocks enemies over. Other times it kills a bunch of enemies. Depends on the character you're playing. So it has a lot of different ways to play it. And then on top of that, once you're done with each level, you get rewarded for it. So it gives you different weapons to use continuing forward. It's also like random loot box shit. So we played it. We were like, that's pretty cool. And then you and I tried Chaos Wastes. And it's like an extended version of that to where you play a bunch of little levels. And those all have variants throughout the levels that make them harder in certain ways or easier in certain ways. And you have to pick and choose what you're going to do and get different rewards as you continue.
Yeah, we played that version with a couple of random players the first time you and I played, because people can jump into your server or whatever if you don't turn it off or whatever. And it was fun, but then it was very clear that, hey, it's a lot harder if you don't have people that you can actually talk to, because they just kind of ditched us and they didn't really care and left us to ourselves. So we died. So we wanted to have a full squad. We got Kyle, we got Eliza, we played it. I think the first time we played it, we made it kind of far, midway, and then I got smacked really hard by a Minotaur, and
this was the second to. It
the
was
last,
like we were almost at the end.
Yeah,
it was the end of that level that led to the very last level.
Yeah. I got hit by a Minotaur, and then I got knocked, like super flung, and I fell over the edge of this platform. But my character, which I think all characters do, will auto grab. So like he like grabs on the ledge, and then he's like, help, and then Trip, being like the homie that he is, like, oh, I got you, I'll go save you. So then Trip comes in my direction. I think Eliza does too, and they both get swatted, and they both then just get flung over the same edge and end up dangling from the exact same spot. It's like, help, and then Kyle's just by himself, and he's absolutely fucked. It was so funny. His Trip just like, I'm never gonna fucking help anyone ever again. Not just you, Juan. Everybody. Like, I don't care if you're falling off the ledge. I don't care. I was just like,
only for the ledge things. Just like the fight needs to end, or I am not helping people.
Yeah.
Like,
so that was, and then we run it back and we beat it the second time. We felt good. And then we played again on Monday. I think we did the waste. Did we? I don't remember if we cleared it.
We just played. We
played the story mode. But we did also do one of them in veteran mode, which was the second mode above rookie, which we've been doing. It was so much harder, Trip. I don't know how many times I fell down. It was a lot scarier. I liked it
a lot. Yeah, that was like very my kind of like good game experience. But then at the same time, it's fun just killing endless hordes without worrying. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot more like managing people's health and being like, hey, don't fucking get away from this person. I also liked the time we played the Chaos Waste, just you, me, Kyle, and Eliza, because I don't know, I don't remember there being those weird mechanics when we played with those other random bots. But there was one where it was like the one where like you had to like you shared damage or whatever, or the ones where you had to carry the totem thing, like the orb that protected people. It was like, it just made the game a little bit different. Some of them were annoying, but I did think it was
it's
fun.
Random the entire time. That's the thing with that. So we didn't
happened.
Yeah, it would have happened on that final level that we didn't get to play. Mm-hmm. There just were other pathways that we didn't want to take, which is kind of the cool branching pathways. Like, ooh, yeah, definitely don't want to deal with a fucking curse the whole time.
Right. Yeah.
Where we share damage if we're within a certain range. Or there was another one which was, there's just lightning that's going to target one of us at all times.
That was pretty good. Yeah. It was still a lot of fun. So, killing rats has become one of our new pastimes.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. It's don't think too much. Just swing and shoot. So
yeah.
So that was fun. I remember last week I told you guys that I had a doctor's appointment, and that I was dying. I made the huge announcement I'm dying. But I made it really clear that I was gonna tell people what my actual results were. I then, while parking in the outside of the doctor's office, like, you know what? If this is an actual serious thing, I am not gonna bring it up on the pod because it's no one's fucking business, right? It's like if I'm like, hey guys, I have this terminal illness.
Yeah, no, you wait like a few weeks until you figure out how you want to talk about it. Yeah,
exactly.
Clearly.
So I was just like, yeah, cool. I don't want to be made a liar, but so I was giving my results. It's not, I don't think it's a horrible thing, but so here are things. So I'm not dying, but I am starting to die.
Yes.
The doctor's like, hey man, your numbers look really great. The only issue I have is your blood sugar is high. And I go, yeah, that makes sense, because the diabetes that runs in my family, right? That's just kind of a thing that all the men in my family have dealt with, and it's killed most of them. And so the doctor's like, look, man, he's like my family doctor. He's one of those doctors where it's not like, hey, I'm not just trying to fix you when you're sick. I'm trying to make sure I'm trying to fix you for the long run, essentially. I want to make sure he's like a mechanic. I want to make sure your parts are good for you can live however long you want to live.
Yeah.
Which I respect. And he's like, look, I want you to do these things. So he's like, hey, I need you to lose weight. I need you to eat better. I need you to exercise. And I was just like, cool. Those are all things that, I should be doing anyways.
Yeah.
Right?
Just like, duh.
Yeah. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to see him again in 6 months, and hopefully, like, all those he'll test my blood again. Hopefully, those numbers are better. But he technically labeled me as, "Hey, you are pre-diabetic. Like, you are not diabetic, but you are on the road to diabetes. And he's just like, look, man, if you do all these things, it might not be fun to eat more of this and eat less of these things. Like, but he's like, but trust me, it is a lot better to eat a kale salad than deal with diabetes. I was like, oh, okay. I see. I hear what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like,
so no big deal, but also low key, like get on it or it will be a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Like take better care of yourself. It was like, it's not your fault. You know, you do have that genetic disposition to like maybe just kind of have it. So if you get on it now, you'll have a leg up on it. It's not to say that I still won't get diabetes when I'm older, but I can work more and do better stuff. So I have a less likelihood to get it. Or if I do get it, like it won't be as severe as other people. So I was like, cool, because my dad has diabetes and he has it fairly under control. For a while, he really didn't. He was pretty in denial of it. He's like, oh, I don't have this, I'm fine. And it's like, he's figured out what type of medication he needs, but he is one of those guys where he's gonna have to take medication for the rest of his life to kind of stay at that level. It's like, and I don't want that to be me. I'd like to avoid having to take like a shit ton of pills every day. But you know, that's just sometimes that's just the luck of the draw.
That's the luck of the draw.
But yeah,
yeah, dude. I don't think that you're gonna have too much trouble. You have the support of Sierra behind you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no,
so,
she's super cool about it. And, you know, she's already started helping me eat better. Yesterday we had like some like brown rice stuff. Today I had like a roll with brown rice. I was like, hey, and quinoa. Quinoa? Not that bad. I give you a bad rap, quinoa. You're not that bad.
Oh, really? You were rapping it bad?
I think I had a bad quinoa salad. Like, I don't fuck with this.
Okay, well, that's fair. You know?
Yeah, but today I had some quinoa. It's pretty good.
I'm glad that you found out that you like it.
Yeah, I've been drinking some juices that have like more veggies and like fruits and beets in it. And I was like, okay, this ain't bad. But yeah, then slowly going to start. Obviously, it's not like a thing I can, you know, switch over like overnight, right? I can't just instantly be 100% healthier. You know, I can't just be fit. So it's like, cool. It's a slow progression, but I think getting the diet to work, having a healthier diet is the first step. Moving around is the second step, and then eventually like the weight loss will come. And eventually, if I do it enough, it should just kind of become normal, right? It wouldn't be like...
Yeah, just focus on the practice, not the results, and eventually you'll get there, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. One other thing he told me about, which he's like, hey, what do you do? I was like, well, right now I'm working at a restaurant. I was like, but I'm studying and my goal is to be an animator. He's like, cool, so you're going to be sitting down a lot? I was like, yeah, like, buy a standing desk. Like, invest in a standing desk, one that you can, you know, adjustable. And I was just like, fuck. And he's just like, hey, man, I know they're super expensive to get a good one. He goes like, but, like... Again, in the long run, studies show people who stand up, you know, while they work, or who aren't sitting there and, you know, all the time, you know, it helps. So I was like, okay, cool. So right now I'm like also like looking around to find a standing desk. I started yesterday, and then I started seeing the prices, and I was like, I'm gonna look at these later.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was like, those numbers are up there. I'm gonna put this down and you know, do this tomorrow or whatever. So that's it though. So yeah, so your boy's fine. My doctor was really nice about my other numbers. He's like, hey man, these other numbers, fucking amazing. He's like, I don't know how he described it. He used a specific word, but it almost sounded like he was like, hey, when we look for someone, if they're going to have like heart diseases or like heart attacks in the future, we look for these kind of like different characters and different like numbers, and they need to align in a certain way, kind of like an astrological symbol. It's just as a metaphor, obviously, you know, it's like, and that can kind of show us, hey, this person in the future is going to have like these kind of like heart disease. Like, he's like, hey man, don't worry about it. Your numbers, fine. No stars aligning there. I was like, oh, nice. Not going to die from a heart attack. Just going to have lost sugar in my blood. Sick. So yeah, but I was, I think, only like a little bit nervous when I was parking in the car that like could go inside. And I was like,
oh yeah,
it could be something really bad. Yeah,
always tricky.
But I would say I'm okay, and I'm excited to, you know, see what happens. I'll be down to lose some weight. Some of my pants feeling a little tight, you know. No big deal.
Let's get it out.
Yeah. Next thing. I don't know if I mentioned this. My mom's in town. Did I mention that?
No.
Mom's in town.
What up, Ma?
Picked her up from the airport. She's gonna be here chilling for a while to meet. You know, she's meeting her new granddaughter, right? My niece. My sister, like I said, is also throwing like a little. It's like reception, because she's been married for 5 years. But when they got married, it was a very like a courthouse thing, you know, like a let's do this. The only people that were there were me and their son. So like I was the one witness or whatever. So I was like, okay. But they're doing good. You know, they have the new daughter, and they're like, this is something they want to do for a while. So they're gonna have like a little shindig and, you know, make it like people know. A lot of times people don't even know that my sister and her husband are married. They just like, oh, your boyfriend or this, and she goes, well, actually, you know, they don't wear their rings. Like, actually, that's my husband or whatever. It's like, because it's no one business but their own kind of thing.
Yeah.
And all the people listening to this podcast now, what up?
And like the government, that's like
exactly. That's yeah. So my mom wanted to be here for that, and she's gonna be here for a while. So and today I got to go to lunch with my mom, which was really cool. We just kind of caught up. She was telling me some fucking wild shit about like how things are done in Mexico, because she's lived in the United States for so long that she's doing stuff over there, and she's like, people look at her like she's weird. So I'll be quick about this one, but the thing she was telling me was like people over there will like they'll like sweep up, obviously like their patios and stuff because there's dust and dirt and stuff, but then they sweep the dirt and like remove like all the leaves and stuff, and then they pile it up so because they don't have grass. It's not the right place for grass, but they just have dirt, and so they make sure their dirt's nice and smooth, and nice and clean, and they pile up their jarred leaves in their waste and put in burlap sacks. And when the garbage comes, that's what they throw away. So when my mom started going there, she sweeps like the patio, and then just leaves the leaves on the ground because that's where they belong. She's like, oh, whatever. And then when she throws her garbage away, she throws away garbage like, banana peels and like, paper and shit. So she has all these garbage bags, and people look at like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm throwing away my garbage. What are you doing? It's like, I'm throwing away my garbage. But their garbage are leaves, and my mom's garbage is garbage. I'm like, well, what do you do with your garbage? I'm like, well, we burn our garbage, or we just throw it down by the creek. And when the stream comes, when the rain season comes, the creek washes all the garbage away. And I was like, what? And my mom was saying, yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, both those things are horrible for the environment. These garbage men come to take the garbage to the landfill. Why don't you just let them take the garbage to the landfill? And they're like, you're a weirdo. You're a weirdo. You don't burn your garbage. Look at this fucking crazy lady over here.
She's also in the middle of fucking nowhere in Mexico. So
I was like,
I feel like that's also some like backwards ass middle of nowhere town American shit.
That's some
that
local
could happen, you know?
Yeah, I was just like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, why wouldn't you just let the garbage man take your garbage? Like, nah, we burn our garbage here. They take our yard waste away. It's like, that's
backwards.
Why wouldn't you burn your yard waste? I was like, I don't know.
Throw that in the river.
Yeah.
The fuck?
So like, it's like shit like that, like little shit like that. That shit like, I was like,
oh man, that's crazy. If I was down there, I would have just been stunned. I would be like, are you fucking with me right now?
Yeah, no, they're absolutely serious. And me and my brother were talking about this to her, and she was just like, yeah, like. And we're like, hey, Mom, you should like make a compost pile. Like, make a little box. You put like, some dirt in there. You wet it. You put all your like stuff that can get, eaten up by worms. And like after a while, you get some really nice, compost for like all your trees that you're going. She's like, oh, that's a great idea. I was like, yeah. Maybe even get your neighbors to give you their fucking leaves that they're just throwing away to the garbage, because why the fuck not, right? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I think she's also thinking about making like a tiny little garbage can.
Okay.
Like a dumpster. She's gonna have to like make it out there, because right now she's just taking like out like trash bins. Like, cool, just if she has like a little dumpster, then like puts a lid on it, dogs can't get to it. It's like shit like that. It's just like these things that I'm doing don't seem to be crazy, but people look at her doing it and they go, this fucking lady's nuts. What a psycho. Also, my dad is getting a lot of women callers. That one blew my mind. My dad was a real ladies' man when he was younger in Mexico. And
now he's Mr. American Man, huh?
Yeah, he comes by and he looks really good. He's like, he's healthy. He's got all his hair. He's got his teeth. They're not his real teeth, but he's got teeth. Like he's looking good. And my mom will be like, people will come to the house and be like, to the front of the house, and they'll knock on that door or the gate and be like, hey, we're looking for, so-and-so. And then my dad comes like, hey, what's going on? And it's usually like an older woman, like not like young women, like women that are probably about my dad's age, And my mom goes like, these are like really like well put together, like beautiful women. And I go, oh yeah? And she's like, yeah. And they're like talking to him and flirting with him and be like, Galayo, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in 20 years? You look so good. And my dad's just like, well, thank you, Maria. That's really kind of you. You know, how are you? You know, the one that killed me was, and my mom's just like squeezing, trying to look through the window and see what's going on, like trying to listen. She's like, oh, like hiding, but like looking out, you know. The one that killed me was like, it was a lady and that lady's mother were there and they were talking. She's like, she said hello. My dad said hello. She's like, oh, I want to introduce you to my mom. My dad's like, nice to meet you, senora. I was like, oh, nice to meet you. And then the girl that's like flirting with my dad goes like, Mom, this is Calayo. He is my impossible love. He's the one that got away. And my dad's like, and my dad's like, oh, okay. And this lady's mom says, hey, knock that shit off. Have some fucking talent. Like, settle the fuck down. You know, like, come on. You know, it was just like, and me and my brother like, Mom, why don't you go out there and like tell them to go away? And my mom's like, well, it's like, I know your dad's not going to do anything because he's not that kind of man. It's like, but also I don't want people to start thinking that I'm like some mean, rude bitch that like is jealous. Because my mom's not jealous. She's just like,
no, she's just vibing, but like, it's weird.
She's just like, why don't just leave him alone? But she's not like, she doesn't get mad at my dad. It's like, it's not your fault or anything. I was just laughing. I was like, this fucking dog, dude. He was killing it back then. He's killing it now. So yeah, he's doing good.
Dude's a stunner.
Yeah,
what else can be said?
Fucking hottie with the body. So yeah, so it was nice to, you know, my mom's been here since I think Saturday, and we've seen her since. Like, we had a family dinner at my house. We made tostadas and stuff, which was really cool. It was good. But you know, today I got to just kind of one-on-one go to lunch with her and just kind of talk about a bunch of stuff. So it was cool. Nice. That's it. That's all the personal stuff. Last thing I want to tell you is I started reading a manga called
the fuck?
Yeah, what was it? Fucking My Hero did an update this past week. It's like, oh shit.
Oh, so you started watching the My Hero spinoff?
No,
reading.
I did start reading My Hero's spinoff, the Vigilante.
The one where Deku dies.
Oh my god! But I think I stopped after like a few chapters because like I wasn't vibing. But I saw a recent post about it and I heard it's really good. Like, it's picking up. So like, anyways, but it's this manga called Ranger Reject. And the only reason I'm telling you about it is because I think it would actually make a really good anime if it ever got picked up. But anyways, so it's like the typical story of like bad guys show up on like down on Earth and they have like a little, I don't know, like a home base floating above Earth, and then they send down monsters, and then a chosen few people become Power Rangers, you know, and they start fighting. And you know, this becomes a weekly thing where every like weekend monsters come down, the Rangers beat them up, and they've been doing this for 13 years. You know, like this is like humanity thinks this is like the Rangers are saving Earth, like this is against evil or whatever. But it turns out that the Rangers actually defeated these monsters in about a year. Like within a year, they were able to beat them and kill all of the higher up bad guys. And so the only only bad guys left are the foot soldiers, essentially like the putty patrol, like the low level ones, the ones that, you know, that come down and they get like killed with one punch or whatever. And the Rangers like, hey, like, you need to keep this up. Every week I need you to come down and have a new monster for us to kill. And you're gonna get killed and you're gonna go away and then you're gonna do it forever. Because they still want to be famous. They still want that, you know, people to love them and stuff. But one of the foot soldiers gets tired of this, you know, situation and decides to, you know, change his appearance. His ability to change what he looks like, and he enlists in the Ranger Patrol School because every Ranger has like their own little group of people who are wanting to be that Ranger, so they kind of work up the ranks to one day become them.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he's infiltrated the Rangers to like defeat them and kill them from within. And we find out that like the Rangers are actually like also like they're bad guys. And so our bad guy is also a good guy. He's like, I'm a villain. I'm gonna fucking kill all these Rangers. Like, yeah, but the Rangers are also not as good. I really enjoyed it. I've only read like, I don't know, 7 chapters maybe.
Yeah.
I think there's only like 12 out. There's not a lot out, but I think it's really fun. It's a little, you know, it's different. It's than like the norm, right? Than what we really expect with like these Power Ranger shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully one day it becomes an anime, because I don't know if I don't think it's at that level where it's good enough for you to read. Like, I don't think you would like love it. Like, it's not on the level like The Promised Neverland or like Land of the Lustrous or Made in Abyss, but I enjoyed it. And if it ever became an anime, I'd be so down to check it out.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's in Shonen Magazine Weekly, and it just started being published February this year.
Nice.
So
yeah,
it could go on for a while, but we wouldn't see an anime adaptation for probably like 5 years from
Who
now,
knows?
I would say. Or it'll be wildly popular, and we could get it in just a couple.
yeah. So that's what I'm hoping for. Hopefully, it gets picked up. That'd be cool to see that as an anime. I think that's just like a good concept, something I haven't seen before.
Yeah,
That's it, man.
Cool. Pretty cool.
That's
idea.
what's up with me. What is up with you?
Oh man, not a lot. So this last week, nothing special's been going on in my life because it's still that last week of quarantining.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I mean, there's not going to be much new news happening after that, anyways. So I've just been playing video games. New Pokemon Snap came out, and it's everything that I want as a Pokemon Snap fan. You have little creatures that are interacting with each other. They don't say their names in this game, which I think is huge. So they're all making animal noises and stuff. It makes it more immersive. It makes it feel like you're more of like nature documentary type of person. And it just, man, it's so well done. It is such a charming game. If you're even considering getting something like that, like, jump on it immediately. It's amazing. It's so chill and so much fun. You can just pick it up and play like a couple of courses or whatever and then hop off. And it has so much replayability too. So the whole goal of the game, for anyone that doesn't know, is to go and take pictures of Pokemon in their natural environments and get some really good looking pictures for documentation. That's the whole idea. This game goes a step further than the original because it has 4 different star rankings for things that the Pokemon are doing. So if they're just vibing, probably just a 1 star. But if they're like breathing fire, you could probably count on that being a 4 star, 3 star at the worst. So you have to get all these different ranks of 1, 2, 3, and 4 stars. And then those have bronze, silver, gold, and diamond ranks to those. Like, it's just a whole bunch of subsets of tasks to do and to improve upon. So you're constantly trying to improve what you've already done before. It's giving you little goals and like tips and stuff like, hey, if you go and like check this out, maybe you'll see something cool. So you have to try to get the right shot at the right time in order to check that off of like people's requests of pictures, as well as just getting different star rankings. So it has a lot of different things to do. Mostly you just continue through the game and have a good time, and it naturally works itself out. It's so much fun. I love everything about it. It's so well done. And if a real ass Pokemon game looked like this, I would be head over heels. I would be so excited, man. Losing my mind over it because you could tell how much work and how much care they put into this game. They even bring back as a cameo the dude from the first Pokemon Snap that has never been talked about since then. Nobody expected him to be in it either. It was just a cool like, oh shit, what are you doing here, man? This is wild. Game's fantastic. I have nothing but praise.
Cool.
So yeah, I've been playing a bit of that. And I also recently got back into Satisfactory, and Kyle, Eliza, and I have been playing that a little bit while our friend Sam is out of town. Otherwise, he would have joined us as well, hopefully. He's had weird problems with the game. But anyways, I've talked about it before on the podcast. The whole idea is to make a factory that can run itself. So you just go and find resources, bring them back to the factory, and then do some light management while that's all going. But it's so fun. There's something that's really enjoyable about having a small group of people to where you each have your own areas of expertise, but you all kind of know about what the other people are doing, and you're able to just work off of each other's strengths in a really cool way. So Eliza has always been really good at keeping the factory organized and like tightly like structured, so that you're not running all over the place so that you can do stuff. It's all really close to each other. It's really nice. We have, for the first time, been able to make it an actual factory instead of just, oh yeah, I'm going to put like a smelter over here and then I'm going to put an assembler over here. It's like, no, okay, so here's the floor. It's all made out of metal. And then we're going to have walls and we're going to have catwalks and we're going to have like a whole bunch of different stuff that we normally don't have, all in an enclosed structure. So we've been working on that a lot and getting more resources. We're just feeling like this is the best version of the game that we've had so far. We've played it a few times, but the problem is we will put it down for like a couple of weeks, and when we come back to it, we go, what were we fucking doing?
What a mess. Yeah.
So it's really hard to keep track of, but it does give you a little like, hey, this is your next goal. You're going to learn this kind of technology. You need to get these resources. So it gives you things like that to do. But then you go, okay, what do we need to make that happen the best? Either we can just take all the resources manually and start making stuff manually, or we could go out and we could find new resources to bring back to the factory to get that all going. It's pretty cool the way that everyone's able to take on different roles. So, like I said, Eliza's making sure that stuff is running back at the factory and like everything is efficient. Kyle is making sure that all of our water systems, because there's a whole like water pump mechanic to it. All the water systems are correctly cooling our coal generators that are producing most of our power. And I am in charge of powering everything, essentially. So I go out into the world. I bring back slugs that you could turn into batteries. I put those batteries into the machines and I say, use your magic. And then they're more efficient. But you need to make sure that they're not using too much electricity. Otherwise, everything shuts down. So I have like a bunch of systems in place to where we're able to troubleshoot, and I can walk people through that because they don't really know what's going on. But I do know everything about how the power works and communicates with the other big systems. Like what's important, what do we need to take away, what's going to make this work. Mm-hmm. So it feels like all of us are like general contractors, but we specialize in certain fields. It's really cool. It's super fun. So just being able to be out there and be like, oh man, I'm doing so much. I got all these batteries. And then, Chris, I need your help with this. We don't have any power now. Just like, okay, well, I'll come on back. Trying to help them out and just being like, yeah, we can't figure this out. It's been fun. It's ridiculous. And last night, right before logging off, Kyle made a couple of like Futurama tubes where you could jump into one and it'll suck you over to a new location. And it just like shows all the people like zooping through tubes, going through all these crazy roller coaster pathways. It's hella fun. It's super chill. And I always lose track of time when I'm playing it. So I'll be like, all right, cool. 3 p.m. And then I look up and I'm like, how is it 8? We've only done 2 things. How is it 8? Well, lost track of time. It's a lot of fun. So we've played that a couple of times. Gonna be playing that a lot more. Our goal is to actually reach the new content that they put in the game, because it's always been like, all right, well, we got to this area and now let's try to get even further. And then we hit a point where we're just like, well, we don't have enough resources and it takes a lot of work. And oh well, we'll play next time. We'll make it more streamlined next time, and then forget what we were doing.
So this is finally that time, though.
I think so. Last night, Eliza was like, all right, I'm getting ready. I'm going to log off. And I'm like, yep, totally get you. I'm going to go to this coal area and I'm going to log off here so that way I know exactly where it's at when I come on next time and I know what I'm doing. That wound up escalating into, this is going to be way too hard to get back home next time and like get resources and stuff. So I've got to do this all now. And then 2 hours later, I'm like, I think we're finally good. I think we did.
I think we're at that point where we can stop. You remember 2 hours ago?
Yeah.
We can finally stop now.
But man, we have done so much improvement. It's fun. It's really fun seeing everything look so organized despite us all being very chaotic with certain things. It's just, oh man. It's a great game. The name is very appropriate. Satisfactory. Everything you do, all the checklists that you just kind of like have as you're going through it, your own personal checklists of, I need to do these things. This is my goal. It feels good knocking out tasks. So yeah. And I don't think I've really been doing anything else. I might have played some Sea of Thieves here or there. I don't know. But as far as games go, it's mostly just been Pokemon Snap, Rat Guys, and Satisfactory.
Yeah, so that's what's up, dude.
I have been watching BoJack Horseman with Kyle, and we watched a couple of big episodes. We watched the Bender episode with all the blackouts and the planetarium. And then we also watched Time's Arrow. And those are like really close to each other.
Yeah.
Time's Arrow was like the second one, I think, that was nominated for an Oscar or something like that, maybe.
Yeah,
An Emmy. I don't know what anything is. But yeah, that's the whole like going back and forth between the current time and his mother as a child, her past, in the same locations, like 80 years apart or whatever, or 70 years apart. Really, really good episodes. So yeah, we're in the thick of it to where they're not making jokes in the same way that they used to. It's like, primarily it's drama with like jokes put in there so that you don't feel like you're suffocating. You know, it's pretty solid. And we also realized that Weird Al Yankovic voices Mr. Peanut Butter's brother, Captain Peanut Butter.
Is that right? Huh.
Yeah.
I never picked that up. That's how many times have you watched that and you're like, oh, I finally got it. Like,
oh no, we just saw his name in the credits, so I looked it up because I had no idea.
No shit! Like you didn't even recognize it during the show. It was until after.
Yeah, because there's a lot of iconic voices that I do pick up on as I'm like watching it again. I'm like, oh yeah, hey, look at that. That's Ben Schwartz. I didn't know that he was in it. Oh, okay, yeah, this is this person. And I don't know. You can tell like a lot of different people have the same voice actors that do a bunch of different things. You're like, oh yeah, that's the same person that voices Vincent. And Vincent, like, it's just all interchangeable. So whenever you get those celebrity cameos, normally they play themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Margot Martindale, for example, always playing since the first season, the like renegade badass actor that does a bunch of illegal stuff just because she can. Anyways, that's been a fantastic time.
It looks like Time's Arrow was nominated for a outstanding achievement on voice acting for an Annie Award, which it didn't win, but it did win the like Writers Guild of America Award in 2018. That specific episode, yeah.
Was it nominated for more stuff?
That specific Time's Arrow looks like it was only nominated like twice.
Oh,
again, those two things.
But remember it being like really well talked about and like talks of it being nominated at the very least then. So that makes sense.
Yeah, but BoJack's for sure like been nominated for a bunch of shit and like won a bunch of stuff too.
The underwater episode, Time's Arrow, the like one in the final season. That was a whole like musical type thing. Yeah,
Fish Out of Water won an AIAFF award, but I don't know what that's called.
Animation is fun and fuck.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. But yeah, BoJack Horseman, what a fantastic show. It's just, you would never expect the show to become what it does based off of the first season. And then every episode you're in it and it's just like, oh man, this is intense. And they bring up like a new character who's named Pickles. And you're like, all right, well, what kind of shit's Pickles going to get into? This is going to be bad. Is Ralph going to have a good time? You know, all those little situations.
Yeah, it's a show that's for sure worth watching. I don't think it's for everyone. Like some of the some of the stuff that happens is like pretty heavy, but it's very well written. You just have to ignore the animal stuff. Like if there's no animals, like this could be a drama, right? This could be like a HBO TV show for sure. The animals just make it so much funner.
Yeah, and they have some dark jokes in there too. Like Princess Carolyn is dating the guy who has the greeting card company or whatever, and he gives her a card and it says "Life is unfairage. Sorry about the," and then it cuts off and it doesn't say the last word, but it's very clear that she lost her baby. And it's just like that's the kind of joke that they'll throw in. It's like, oh yeah, here's this little card, and then we're going into a whole different topic immediately after that because we are not sitting on that joke for too long. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I just appreciate the way that they're able to change pace like that. But yeah, I would say that I haven't been doing anything this week. It's just been a very good games time with a lot of people. Nothing substantial. And I have a couple of manga in the other room, the latest Made in Abyss and the latest Promised Neverland releases for the US. So I'm excited to get into those.
Yeah, dude, let me know what's going on. I'm curious. Like I said, I didn't get my manga fix. I didn't get my fucking My Hero, but stuff's popping off. Stuff's getting heavy. I don't want to spoil
I heard
nothing.
that Deku's gonna die.
When Deku gets his Super Saiyan 4, it's
Uh-huh.
pretty sick.
Yep.
Pretty dope. What did I see recently that had like a Super Saiyan reference that was like super sick? Oh, okay. Never mind. I'll talk about it later. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
Yeah, good shit. Cool, man. Want to talk about anime that you've been watching?
Okay, it's stuff that I've been watching for sure,
let's
dude.
hear it.
Yeah,
Let's hear it,
absolutely.
man.
All right, so My Hero Academia. The last episode we watched was like it ended with Mushroom Girl, so this episode
nice.
starts out with that recap.
Okay.
It's a fun ass fight, and when it first started, I was like, I don't know which team I want to win this because I think I would like to see both of them win. I don't really care about who loses as much. I just want them to both succeed in their own ways because I liked the characters and I thought that they were like interesting. And of course, you want to root for the underdogs, which you assume is not our main character class of Class A of all these like good ass My Hero fighting people.
Who's the Mushroom Girl fighting against? Because I'm not caught up with that.
Oh, so it's been a while since you've read the manga. Gotcha.
No, for sure. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember what the
yeah. So there's Mushroom Girl, there's Hand Girl, there's Manga Man, and there's Shadow Man. They're all on a team, and they're up against Shadow Man and Laser Beam Man and and Creation Girl.
Okay.
And who is the last one in that group?
Is it Invisible Girl?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's why I couldn't remember.
Because you can't see her. Yeah.
Except for when she gets covered with mushrooms, and that's pretty horrific because you know that she's naked too. So it's just like, fuck, that's awful. Mushrooms are just popping off all over these people. Oh.
Did we see Mushroom Girl do stuff in the sports festival or no?
No, so this is the first time you see that.
Okay. Does she say something? Does she have
she says shroom.
Does she? Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm watching it. I'm watching My Hero in English with my nephew. But I remember reading the manga, and she says like it's like the little like kind of like Froppy says like ribbit every now and then, right?
Says Kero. Yeah.
Kero. Yeah. It says that's like what does the Mushroom Girl say? She just says shroom.
Shroom. Yeah.
Yeah, I like her. She's got a dope power and a really sick like character design.
I love her character design.
Yeah.
I fucking hate her power.
It's gross looking, right?
I don't want to spoil anything about the episode because that's all that it was. But fuck, I don't like her. After seeing that episode, I don't like her at all. Fuck her. I don't like her power. It makes me feel bad.
Yeah, it's pretty gross, but them some breaks.
So yeah, that was a sick episode. Yeah, Shadow's house. Clearly progressing in a dark, satisfying way. I don't know what's going to happen, but this was a night shift episode.
Okay. I think I stopped in the middle of that episode because I was tired. I was like, I can't keep up. But that's as far as I am on the show. Because I decided to catch up on that one. I tried to, but that shit's good.
It's one of those shows that I think the less you know about it, the better. And each episode really builds on it to be like, you don't have any idea what's going on here, and you're gonna find out what the actual story is. Mm-hmm. This was the episode where we actually get to see and like really meet all of the people in the intro. So they're like the 5 different rooms. You can see their windows and all the different colors. We actually get to meet those. One guy's an asshole. 2 of them are in the same like group as her. And then the other one is the girl who we think is being possibly sexually abused, who's like very forgetful. Lou.
Yeah. She's that the really meek girl, like the one with the short hair.
No, that's the other one. I don't think that. I don't know what her situation is, but it's the redhead girl with the like curls.
Okay.
Yeah. They're also twins, which I don't know. I'm like theorizing what's happening. I'm assuming that they find people, they somehow brainwash them, and then they make a shadow recreation of them. And
whoa, that's a wild. Yeah, that is an interesting theory. I haven't thought about it that deeply. I was like, this is pretty cool. That's all my head's going through.
No, I'm thinking about things deeply too, because you could tell that there's a lot of shit going on. So anyways, that's the way that I'm seeing that plot line going, is that they're probably making copies of humans into shadow people, and they talked about how powerful the king person is. Anyways, that's what I'm thinking is going on, and they made it sound like it wasn't that big of a deal in these like, I guess graduation ceremonies is kind of the way it is, but it's also like a test. It's like a pass or fail thing. And if you pass, great. You get to be the Shadow's face. And you get to go around and be their partner. But if you fail, and this was introduced a couple episodes ago.
They call them debuts or something like that?
Yeah, like, something like that, yeah. And if you fail, they haven't said what happens.
Yeah.
But we assume they get killed. And if they get killed and it is the person who they call a living doll, if it is the person that they've created a shadow image of, then does that mean that they also kill the shadow image?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the politics behind everything? Clearly, these shadow people have like a desire to live and they need their faces to be good. And that's why there could be so much abuse that we haven't seen yet, but we assume.
We've seen like little hints of like that. There's that one chick in that bath that was like all scarred up, and you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah. But we haven't seen it happening. We've just
for sure.
seen the bad effects.
Maybe it's also like it could be a case of like the shadow people can change themselves, so they find another kid, right, and they go, okay, cool.
Could be.
And the shadow can morph itself to look more like like whatever the kid is, and
so they would still maintain their personalities, but they would look like a different person.
They would change their shape, right?
Okay, yeah, I could get behind that too.
And maybe that's why, like, I think her name's Kate, right? Like the girl,
Kate and Emiliko.
Maybe that's why she's like maybe she's done it before and hasn't succeeded, and she's like, fuck, like I really need one to pan out. That's my guess, because it'd be weird. I mean, they could absolutely kill the shadow people, but you're right. I am interested to see that. We
will find out, because the next episode is supposed to be a debut.
Yeah,
that I think is out that I haven't seen.
We didn't talk about like some stuff just because I wasn't caught up. But there's that bit where we see a shadow with a proper face, and then it's moving in like it. That was the human.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It was so fucking creepy. It was like, God,
it's very surreal.
And then then they meet up later in the hall, and she's like, "Hey, how's it going?" She's like, "Oh, you're not mad at me?" She's like, "Nah, that's her emotions. I'm my own person." Ha ha ha. I was like, "Oh my God, this is not okay."
Yeah, essentially, you have to like separate your personality in like a crazy kind of way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what that show's gonna become, but it's got some dark, cool stuff going on. Man, it is a thrilling show to try to follow along with. So that's a good time. We've got those Snow White notes. Fantastic still. It's just more about playing music and kind of realizing that our main character needs to find his own sound and figure out what that is. So he's got like a gentle, like loving sound to his music, and he needs to find out how to incorporate that into everything he plays, is the direction that the show's going. It's still good. I still have a really good time watching it every week. But I'm mostly just there for the music. I don't care too much about the characters, but I do like the characters. There's not any character that I'm like, they annoy me. They're saying stupid things. Like, there's nothing like that. It's all just good times, good characters, but nothing special. Nothing special, What else is on Crunchyroll? I'm not watching the Mug Show. I can tell you that much for sure.
Odd Taxi.
The last episode was... I'm not remembering it well. Was the next one the one where it was about the monkey man who, like, became obsessed with, like, gacha games?
That is one of the shows that I
No,
have
he wasn't a
not caught
monkey
up with.
man. He was... what kind of a person? I don't know. Oh, he was a cat, I think. Catman. Yeah, he's the one that is obsessed with gacha type game stuff. Mm-hmm. And the last episode ended with the whole like gun situation. Did you see that episode?
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, well, anyways,
sorry.
At the very end of the last episode, the main character like almost crashes into this dude who was crossing the street, because it was an emergency situation, so whatever. And this whole episode, we get to see the fallout of that and what the situation was, and how he, this main character has like a special love for dodos, and it explains the whole past of that. And he found some gacha game, and you could get a dodo in it. And he finally got his dodo after so long of playing and all this money and time spent on this mobile phone game. And then as soon as he got that, he drops his phone because he was almost hit by a taxi cab driver. And the phone shuts off, and then he lost his dodo. So he is fucking pissed, and he is down to kill this taxi cab driver. So it's a whole different story about them trying to kill a taxi guy that is about to happen. Probably, maybe not. I don't fucking know. It's a good time. It's a really enjoyable show. Still, it's got that like dark city kind of vibe where it's showing you the seedy underbelly of the city, but in different, weird, unique ways. I'm still really having a good time with Odd Taxi.
Are you still watching the soccer one?
No, I haven't watched any more of that. But I will. It's still on my queue. I'm still planning on checking more of that out. Okay. But Vivi was also good. I don't want to spoil any of that because I don't think you're caught up.
I think I'm 2 episodes behind on Vivi. I finished the one where they're doing the space stuff, like the wrap up to that one. So the 15-year future jump, and I'm assuming the next one,
which was a whole good story arc, right?
Yeah, it was really good.
The first story arc was great, and then you get into that whole like, the I don't know what to call it, but the spacification, essentially.
Yeah. I will say that show has some really good animation and some really fucking just like really good art. There's a bit where a AI gets found in the garbage, and like, you know, she's like missing both her arms and like half her face is seen. And then we see her other half of her face and just like all like to shit, you know? And I was like, I kind of like paused it and I was like, whoa, like what a scary, like really nicely done, like still. The fighting in that show is really good. I like the characters. I feel like the stories, I don't know, I'm entertained and intrigued, even though it does kind of feel a little bit like, I don't know, monster of the week. Like, what's the problem this week? Let's go do it, you know?
But it's like a two-parter
every... Yeah. I mean, so far, because I don't... if you're caught up...
Yeah, no, the next episodes that you're going to watch, it's another 2-parter.
Okay.
And it is about this man who marries a robot. And whether or not that's okay. Since robots are created, or at the beginning of the show, I don't know how much time has passed. I can't remember the exact amount of years. But at the beginning of the show, we are taught that these robot people, they look just like people. They act just like people when they need to. But they are also for very specific functions. So they're programmed in ways that are like, only do this thing. Only do that. So it gets to this point and it's like, well, if she was programmed to marry him or whatever it was, then that's kind of fucked up, right? To like make a robot and to program it to marry you? I don't know. So it gets into this like a little bit more political aspect of it, while also being like, no man, I care about robots more than anybody. I would never want to take that away from a robot.
Yeah,
I would, if she didn't want to marry me, I would not want that, like that kind of conversation. And then of course it gets into, and now we're probably gonna have a big fight, and it's gonna be a big robot fight, and you're gonna have fun. It's like, okay, good.
Yeah.
And when I say big robot fight, I don't mean like mechs. I mean human-sized robots doing cool fights.
Yeah, it always feels like these 2 parts are like, first episode's kind of the setup, second episode's like more action, right?
Yeah,
like more.
Yeah.
And I'm liking it. I'm liking so far the formula of it. Like I said, I think the show looks great. Even the music's really nice. Yeah, I'm really liking Vivi. It's probably like one of my favorite shows of the season so far.
Yeah, Vivi is so good. It's sick. Super Cub was great. I haven't seen. There's another. I don't know what episode they come or what day they come out. I think Sundays or something. I watch anime on Saturdays. So I haven't seen the most recent one, but it's still a great time. Where are you at?
I mean, I didn't get around to watching any more Super Cub this week, but I do have that image that you sent me to let us know when things come out, and it looks like Super Cub
forever ago.
Yeah, it looks like Super Cub comes out on Wednesdays, so it would make sense. It comes out the day of the podcast. Yeah.
Haven't seen this one, but yeah. What a nice show. What a good time. Always.
Yeah.
It's just, if anything bad happened to our main character, I would lose my fucking mind. But other than that, the show's a really good time. And nothing bad is going to happen to her. But that's what I keep thinking, because there's so many other shows that are like dark.
Where bad things happen, yeah.
Like Zombieland Saga, for example. Good things happened this last episode. They had a big... I'll spoil it because it's season 1 stuff, and it goes into season 2. They had a big episode at the end of season 1 where they went to go do this performance in such a huge theater, and they wound up having a super great show because it was struck by lightning, and it would have normally killed this actress, but I think she was actually struck by, or idol, whatever. I guess she was struck by lightning when she was killed initially, but same thing happened, and they all get electrified and do like an electric kind of auto-tune singing and dance and stuff, and it was fun. It didn't look that great because they used 3D animation, and it felt like very slow and just But this season, they are bringing it. Mappa's killing it, and oh man, they did it again. They were just like, all right, well, let's make it cool. And just like zap themselves so everybody's all auto-tuned, and they do a really rad song. It's a rad, fun show, and it keeps leaning more into just like, we're gonna have fun. Still, the voice acting better in this show than like any other show I've watched recently. I mean, there's lots and lots of good voice acting out there, but you could just tell how much fun and how into it these voice actors are, how much they are trying to play their own characters. So yeah, really, really fun time there. I want to say that might be all the anime I'm watching. Maybe.
Did you watch Megalobox?
All right. Yeah. I don't want to talk about that one. That one's very spoiler heavy. Cool. Great episode, but we are about to enter another story arc with that whole show. There's not really a parallel to season 1. I mean, this whole second season has been so much more about the tragedy of these people's lives and overcoming their darkness and like moving forward, especially Joe with all of his issues. So this episode focused more on that and went to other dark places and had other characters reflecting on their lives. And then the next storyline is going to start now. So that's all I can say about that. But still fantastic. Loving every part about it. I think it will get away from that more like... I still don't know if they are Mexican. I don't know if it's an actual Mexican theme behind the show or if it's like future apocalypse Mexican, which isn't real Mexican. It's some other country that doesn't exist. Whatever it is. I think that we're getting away from that storyline more. We might see it, but I think that we're going to move from that storyline. Okay.
Well, I'll try to catch up on Megalobox.
I think you'll have a good time. Your mom's probably going to like it too, so you should watch it with her.
Yeah, she does love boxing. So
some good bonding time with your mom. That's all the anime that I'm watching right now. That's about it.
Let's get into this week's news, though, if you got it.
I got some. So you guys know a little movie called Made in Abyss.
Heard of it, seen it, good stuff.
They just put out a new picture promoting the second season, which is cool. I like what they've done for the like colored character design, but at the same time, they also just announced that Made in Abyss Binary Stars Aiming for Darkness is an RPG that's going to come out in 2022. So we're going to be playing Made in Abyss. Which is fucking... Why this? Why this fucking game? It blows my mind. But hey, if I'm able to go down in the abyss, no complaints. I am fucking into it, man. That sounds rad. But you do play as the characters. So let's hope that Nanachi's having a good time. Like, who knows what's going to happen with her in the game? Are you going to be able to play as her? I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah. It'll be a good time. Right?
It should be interesting. I mean, it's weird that they're doing so many strange things with this IP, right? Like why
Oh, yeah.
Why not? I don't know. We'll check it out, right? We'll have to do it. We'll like a live stream it on the pod, so on fucking Twitch.
Mm-hmm. And it's coming out on PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. It's being made by Spike Chunsoft, I think. Maybe. Yeah. Anyways, should be very rad. Should be cool. Maybe.
Okay.
Who knows? Made in Abyss. Hey, you remember a little place called Russia?
Yes.
They are banning isekai anime due to promoting beliefs of reincarnation.
Oh, that's heavy. I mean, yeah, I'd ban isekais because I'm fucking sick of them. But yeah, you do whatever. If this is what you got to do, Russia, you do you. I don't know. I feel like there's other things you should ban besides this, right?
Yeah, but Russia wants people to know that when they die, they're dead. Yeah, you don't continue on to a cool fantasy life. It's just, that's it.
That's a bummer. There's some good isekais they're missing out. They're also missing out on a bunch of shitty ones. So, Russia, you crazy.
Yeah, man. Oh, well. Hey, Kadokawa is going to produce 40 new anime titles a year moving forward.
Is that a studio? What is that?
Yeah, Kadokawa, they're a producer. They make tons of anime. If you look up Kadokawa right now, you'll be like, yes, Kadokawa, the people with the like Phoenix or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. Anyways, they're making 40 anime a year, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because that sounds like a lot. Kadokawa.
WA.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that having that much anime can either be a huge benefit because that means that we're guaranteed to get something good, or it could be bad, meaning that there is so much shit they can't figure out which ones to put more effort into, which ones are going to be the most successful, what would be the most successful if it had enough funding, all that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, that is pretty wild, though. Yeah.
hopefully it's anime a year, man.
Hopefully it's for the better, right? You know, like hopefully it works out. So,
and for anyone that really needs to know, Gintama the Final is going to release on Blu-ray and DVD in Japan on August 4th, which means that maybe we'll get it like next year or something.
Cool. Gintama, go get it. Go get your hands on it if you can. So.
Get your hands on it. That's all the news that I have for you, man.
That's good, man. I think some good news.
Very cool.
Let's get into this week's topic then.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Fucking Yasuke. It's on Netflix.
Sure is.
It's about a samurai and a bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mappa directed this, and we are big fans of Mappa here because they've made shows that we like, but that doesn't mean that we like every show that they make. But they have made some good ones recently, like the latest season of Attack on Titan, or like Dororo, or I just talked about the Zombieland Saga.
Yeah, for sure. They've sneakily become one of my a studio I really do enjoy to see what they make. At first I was like, fuck out of here, Mappa. Now I'm like, get in here, Mappa. You get in here.
Well, I mean, it was also bullshit at the last anime expo we went to, where we're just like, all right, cool, Mappa stuff. And they're like, yeah, guys, there's going to be Zombieland Saga stuff. We're going to do so many cool things. And you're like, yeah. And then you show up and they're like, please look at a recap of all of the shows that we've done recently.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and you go,
yeah, but new projects, like new stuff.
And they're like, we hear you out. We hear you. But have anybody seen Zombieland Saga? Like, yeah.
That's literally why we're here. We don't need a recap. We know it. We're here. We're fans. You already got us.
Okay, now you're right, Mappa. Mappa, you're on our shit list. You owe us a lot.
It's been a couple years since then, so I don't know. I've noticed enjoying a lot of the shows that they've made. Not all of them. Sure. I wasn't a big fan of Dorohedoro. That one didn't hit me right, but I thought that it was so cool that they were going for such a bizarre story that did feel entirely new. And again, it was on Netflix. So, going into a Mappa show, you don't go in with the highest set of expectations, but you know that there's so much potential there.
Oh, Trip, they're doing that show I mentioned to you off pod, the Remain show, the water polo show.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah, they are.
So stoked. Come out this year. Yeah, so... Okay.
Okay, the show's made by LaShawn Thomas.
Yes, and you might know him from making something like Cannon Busters. That was also on Netflix. He's done other stuff. Didn't he work on Boondocks or something like that back in the day? I think we even got to see him talk live. At least I did. I don't remember if you were there for He was at Anime Expo a few years back. I think he was promoting Cannon Busters that hadn't been released yet. But yeah, it also has got Lakeith Stanfield, who is an actor. He's Darius in Atlanta. He was in Get Out. He was in the one Uncut Gems. He's an actor.
Sorry to bother you.
Sorry to bother you. Yeah, he's an actor
plays
that
the
I really.
Bison in the last season of BoJack.
Oh, he does, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. Oh, that is right. Yeah, I like that Bison. He's like
a fucking amazing actor and clearly can be a good voice actor.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got a very good voice. But he's also what you said. He also helped produce the show, right? He didn't just help produce some of it, maybe write some of it. And then we talk about music when we talk about animes, but
this has a bigger emphasis on that, though.
Yeah, sometimes we'll be like, hey, the music was good, but the music was really good in the shows, and we're willing to say, hey, it was, talk about the person that made it. Flying Lotus made it.
So Flying Lotus was the music producer and also just one of the producers for the anime. And the music supervisor. Anyways, all the music was done by Flying Lotus from what I could tell. Sick soundtrack. I'm not the biggest fan of Flying Lotus, but I do like Flying Lotus. I've known about them for a while now. But they're just like kind of chill hip-hop, kind of mellow music. I don't know. I like whatever music Flying Lotus puts out. Not everything is a huge hit, but everything in this anime, great. Fantastic music. Mm-hmm. I loved the music. Easily for me, the best part of the show was the influence that you could feel Flying Lotus put into this soundtrack. I think his music's up there with one of my favorite things about the show, followed by maybe some really interesting character designs, and then some pretty nice animation. There's some times where there's some really good action sequences that really popped off, and I was like, oh shit! I was for sure glued to the screen. Biggest, I guess, drawback, biggest falter that this thing had was story. The story I don't think was that strong. And characters. I would lump those together, though.
Yeah, they just also weren't that strong.
The writing is what was not strong. None of this was well written. It was a bizarre storyline. It was bizarre characters without much... I don't know, without much emphasis put into who they actually are. It was so surface level for everyone.
Yeah, I felt like they were kind of, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but they felt really hollow, kind of soulless. I was I don't, the characters at least, the people that were there. I'm I'm not connecting with them. I'm not fucking vibing with them. I don't care about them, right? And that's what I want when I'm watching something. I want to care. I want to be invested, and I wasn't. No. There was for sure times where I'd pull up my phone and cool, I'm just really not vibing with this. And then some awesome animation would come up, and I'm like, oh, dope. Okay, I'm back in it for however long they got my attention. And then I was kind of checking out. I told you that I had to watch the first episode 3 times.
Yeah, you did.
I was literally the first time I watched the whole thing, I fell asleep. I didn't remember any of it. It was fuck. Second time I watched more of it, but still didn't remember the final half. And the last time I was all right, finally got around to it. Okay, cool. I think I've done it enough where I can keep it pushing. It's only 6 episodes long, and that doesn't really bode well for you, right? If you're cool, of the 6 episodes, I had to watch the first episode 3 times because I just wasn't able to kind of catch me or get my attention. And going into this, I knew that this anime was gonna be made. I knew it was about a samurai who was black, and I was like, cool. That's all I knew going into this. And I was like, I'm excited to watch that story. You texted me. I think you're like, hey, dude. Some of the first reviews for this show came out. Here they are. And it was just you sent me this thing, and it was it almost felt like it was fake. It was just something about within 10 minutes, within
10 seconds,
within 10 seconds, yeah. We've got mechs, magic, flying this, undead armies. And I was just is this for reals? And then it dawned on me that, we had talked about this, that the person writing this, the person behind all this, is Lesean, who our biggest complaint was for Cannon Busters, but that he wanted to make the most anime thing ever, and he absolutely accomplished it. Every sick anime trope gimmick he put into a blender and he hit high on that bitch and just let it fucking blend. And then what came out was a Cannon Buster smoothie, and it was disgusting. Like, it just tasted bad. It wasn't a good thing. It was like too much, right? And so my biggest concern after hearing that review was like, oh, fuck, like maybe he just kind of went a little overboard with this. I'm curious to see how overboard it is. And again, I think it's accurate. Within 10 seconds, I think there's a giant fucking mech that comes out of nowhere, and there's this giant war.
I think
people doing magic.
At most it was like 1 minute. It was right away though.
Super quick, yeah. And I was like, oh my god, he fucking did it. He absolutely did. It's Cannon Busters, but it looks better because it's done by a different studio. Fuck. Maybe we shouldn't give this guy more chances to make these crazy animated things that are just, I don't know, maybe in his opinion, cool for the sake of being cool, because I felt like none of that was really needed. But anyways, I will say that as I watched more of the show, I was like, oh, cool. It was just that super huge battle in the beginning that didn't grip me, that I was kind of had me rolling, that had me really rolling my eyes. But then we went, I think, to like an actual story and try to get to the plot, and then there was crazy stuff that happened along the way, but it wasn't as super bombastic as like Cannon Buster was for no reason. And it was like, I think even though the story wasn't good in my opinion, I think it was at least more cohesive than what Cannon Busters was. So I was like, hey, good for you. That has improved. I still don't like the story or really like much of the characters.
It's interesting because he directed it. He executive produced it. He didn't write this. So the writing problems that we had, not his fault. Somebody else's fault. But the main thing that I think makes this show so difficult is the way that it was directed. It was the magic. It was the like mechs. It was that there are so many different bizarre elements introduced right away. I don't know, man. It just feels like there are all these things that he wanted to put in there and just had to have in there that absolutely didn't need to be there, which is great. Like sometimes that could work out great, but this particular situation, I think it's hard. We haven't had an anime about this particular real historical figure before, but to go into a show and have it completely surprise you with magic and mechs and shit like that, well, you didn't exactly expect that right off the bat. I don't know. Like, I compared it earlier with Samurai Champloo to where it starts out and like it might be a little bit goofy and a little bit like over the top for certain things, but in general, it's like pretty grounded in reality. And then you get to an episode where there's like an ogre and you go, oh, okay. So this isn't like that way of telling it's good. Dororo scared me when I first started it. I was like, I like this show, but it was kind of fucking awful because they did some weird magic shit right at the beginning that made it feel just out of place. But I don't really know. And then by the second episode, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm totally into this.
For sure.
I feel like Yasuke didn't have that point where I was like, yeah, I'm happy that there's this magic person that turns into a werewolf and this shaman and just an undead army and a battle mech and like all of these bizarre things like magical children, all of that going on within the context of the world. It just, I feel like if they introduced stuff in certain ways, it could have been cool. But the fact that everything was given to us right off the bat, right away, was so jarring, you know?
Right. Yeah. It just, for sure. Just kind of took me back. I wasn't ready for all of that shit. Right. I was ready to see a samurai who was black and see what that story was. And it was like, no.
I was so
check out all this crazy shit.
And LeSean Thomas has been getting a lot of like racist reviews and stuff. We read one before the podcast.
Yeah.
Just want to make it very clear. I don't give a fuck who he is. I didn't like the story elements and how they were placed.
and I think we're, what we're saying, it isn't in any way coming off as like offensive. We're not being like, hey,
but it's just easy to be lumped in because there's so much just vitriol on the internet.
Exactly. I just wasn't a fan of it because I just, I thought it was too much. I thought I should have been reeled in, right? I thought it should have been, honestly, if that big battle in the beginning wasn't shown and instead it was just like him, the main character as a boatsman, and then we slowly got to see more things. Like we slowly got to see that there's a mech, and then we got to see someone with magic. I would have appreciated that more because like, okay, cool. At least I get like an inkling like what's that things are getting progressively more crazy as opposed to everything just fucking insane, and then we get everything settles down. Also, when that happened, I was confused. I was like, wait, so is this like a post-apocalyptic future where like like it's like future,
even though it just said like 1584 or whatever? Yeah, like but it still feels like okay, but because they're still calling it like it's 1584 or whatever in this specific periods, the Edo period of Japan or whatever. Like every single time, it's always this historically accurate thing followed up with insanely like futuristic fiction.
Which I thought like maybe it's just and I think it's just like an alternate future, right? An alternate like existence, because like the one point the guy goes like, I think his master said something like, yeah, we got these mechs from the Mongols or the Chinese or whatever, and then we brought them over. Like I was like, okay, cool. At least he's trying to like fold it into this weird thing. But I was like, yeah, but I'm not buying it. Like, it's still
if you're gonna
really
say that,
wild.
I need to be like, okay, well then we're gonna get to see this other culture and how they somehow have robots, and they're like, no, you don't get to know about that. Yeah. That's just something that happens. And then I think, well, I don't give a fuck about a samurai. I want to see the people doing future robot stuff in the 1500s.
They should have just said it was a different time period. I would have been cooler with it or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways. I guess that's a huge, just like a really like a negative point in like the it's something I didn't like. I wasn't fucking caring for it. But that's not the worst part. The worst part, I guess, is the story and the characters, whatever. There's things I like, though.
One specific thing that I dislike the most. And
okay, let's hear it.
It's kind of spoilery, so I'm going to try to do it without spoiling anything. But a very big thing happens because of a character. And the way she reacts to it is like...
Oh, okay.
She's upset for 10 seconds. Yeah. And then immediately is like... Oh, well, even though that very significant thing happened, looks like I've just got to keep doing some weird stuff. She's a child. Like, a child doesn't have the emotional maturity. I don't think anybody has the emotional maturity to go through what she went through and then to immediately turn around and be like, all right, let's go take down an entire, like, zombie army.
Maybe like psychopaths, sociopaths, murderers.
It felt right? like, And then there's also the other thing that happens in anime all the time, but this bothered me. I don't know why. I just really noticed it. You know how pretty much every anime that has a group of bad guys will have scenes where they're all standing around talking to each other?
Mm-hmm.
This group of bad guys, nobody would look at each other. They were all facing different directions.
Oh, okay.
Not a single person was looking at each other, and they're all just talking at like regular volume and stuff, and they're all far apart. That kind of shit bothers me so much. It's like, really? All of you are trying to be cool right now? The only one that was looking at other characters was the robot. And I'm like, I fucking hate this. I don't believe this for a second. Like, I get it. They're supposed to be psychopaths in some way or another, but... They're also devoutly following a leader, and none of them are looking at him when he talks.
Yeah, what is up with that? They are following him because, like, he is paying their bills or whatever. I will say that the issue I had with the 4 bad guys were this, like, this strange group of, this strange group of, I don't know, hired swords, was that it felt like, they didn't really know each other. 2 of them, like the shaman guy and the bear chick, they seem to talk to each other pretty normally. But apparently the robot guy and the chick with the scythe seem to have some sort of discord and also be a pair. Like they said stuff where like, oh, how do they work together? I was just like, they didn't do a good job of making their relationship actually feel like it was like they were connected. And then later on in the show, when something
they try to maximize off of a relationship that didn't exist.
Exactly. Like, and it's like, it just feels so unearned, right? I was like, okay, cool. I get what you're doing. I don't think they did a good job of making me care about this specific moment. It just should have been done better.
Kind of a bummer, but at the same time, at that point in the show, I didn't give a fuck. Like, I'm not trying to care.
for sure. Things I did like besides the music, right?
Okay.
I did like some. There were some interesting character designs, like the shaman dude, the other black character in the show who did weird hand symbols and like summoned like green glowing spirits that fought for him. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's an interesting power.
Yeah, it's almost like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
It reminded me of like Green Lantern from like DC, and also reminded me of the other shaman from Goblin Slayer that would revive the skeleton bones. They would fight for him.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. Also, really like the chick to transform into a bear because obviously I'm a big fan of bears. But I was like, when I first I was like, what is she? She's some sort of weird beast person. She's like super tall and Russian apparently. She comes in and she goes, vodka. I was like, in Japan? What are you doing? They don't got vodka in Japan. But then when I see her transform, I was like, oh, dope. Like that's cool. Usually you see people transform into, I don't know, a wolf or like a dragon. You don't really see people transform into bears that often. And I don't know. I liked that character design. There being a mech who seemed to be malfunction, I feel like that's just a thing, or is it? It doesn't that malfunctions and also doesn't understand humanity, right? I feel like it's like a trope that I've seen so much and it's really overdone.
But it's
right?
trying to understand humanity, but it can't.
It just wants to know what the word friends means.
Yeah,
and
what is love?
It's like it's the Iron Giant essentially, right?
Yeah.
And then lastly, there's like the last chick. She was just a chick with a scythe. I don't know what was special.
Hell
about
yeah,
her.
She was nothing at all, dude. There was nothing special about her. She had the least amount of lip sync too. Oh yeah, this whole show, by the way, it's like made to watch in English. With LeSean being the lead. Yeah. Anyways, the first scene where I noticed her talk, her lips were just like Bob, but she's like, don't even worry about it. We're fine. Even though her mouth just flapped twice, it was like a ton of words all in succession. And that didn't happen for other characters. So immediately I realized, oh, this character doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, for sure. The one character that I was like, okay, so I asked you before the pod, like, hey, can you think of something that happened in the show that like you was like, oh, that feels like has LeSean written all over it, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a moment in the show where a character is being really mean, and I was like, okay, cool. He's beating someone up. He's the first big bad. He's like a priest, and I was like, oh, that's creepy. Priests are always scary, right? But then he opens up a box, and there's just two like brass knuckle dusters, essentially, with like golden ones with like names written in them. And he starts beating the shit. I was like, as soon as it happened, like, oh my god, that feels like him. This is him. This is absolutely him. It's so him. It's like a fucking priest with brass knuckles. That's the coolest thing. That's the most anime thing he just could, he threw in there. But it was a lot of the show of me watching it and show, be like, what could they do to make this more anime? And they always seem to do it. They always seem to kill it. When you say, you're like, oh, when they drew, was it Dororo?
Yeah, right off the bat, there was straight up a Dororo cameo, but they didn't say it. There was just somebody who looked exactly like her, and I'm sitting there wondering if she's gonna be a character, and of course she's not. It just seemed like a weird thing, but made by the same studio. Very similar design, similar time period. It makes sense, but yeah. That was something I said.
Yeah, no. I think when we were talking about this, like, I don't think this was horrible. This wasn't the worst anime I've seen. Do I think it's like a must watch? No. Do I think it's good? No. There's just better shows you can watch over this show.
It's on the lower end of average. Yeah,
for sure. If you watch it, cool. Like, if you're a fan of this show, there's nothing wrong with that. It wasn't for me. I don't think I'd recommend it to anybody, though. I don't think like, hey man, you have to watch this. I would maybe say like, hey, go check out this fight like on YouTube. Maybe like nothing.
Really? Which fight?
I don't know. I mean, I really
if you have to like say a specific, if you're gonna tell somebody to check out a fight.
I actually really I think I liked the fight where it was. Oh no, I guess it's not the fight. It's the brutal moment where the bear chick cops it. I was like, oh, you gotta see this. I'd have to show that to a friend. But she didn't fight. She just got her shit fucked. No, and I can't even see the first fight because even though there was like a huge fucking blast or whatever. I had to watch that fight 3 times because I fell asleep every time. I don't know, man.
I think the best fight in it was when he was having his first like 1v1 that turned into a group of samurai surrounding him that he had to kill.
Oh, okay. And the guy let him, just kind of. I get what you're saying. When he went up to fight that guy who was like a general that was evil or whatever, that was trying to take stuff over, and the guy that didn't like him said, "Oh, figure it out," right? I remember that.
Yeah.
Back in the before times. Yeah. I also liked when he fought that other girl samurai. Shout outs to girl samurais. We should get a show with girl samurais.
Shout outs to her. She was dope.
Yeah, she was. Did you watch the end credits?
I did.
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna spoil the show from here on out. I don't think it's a must watch, but I don't feel bad about watching it. I think Trip and I said like we would watch the second season if it was on Netflix for the pod, but
but if it wasn't for the podcast, I'm out.
Not for ourselves, yeah, because there's some cool stuff and it looked okay at times. But spoilers. Here we go. So the end credits after.
Oh, just not even what the story was. Just,
what does it matter? Like,
it doesn't. Nobody should watch this. Really, it's just if you do need something to watch and throw this on. Okay.
Can I tell you what I thought the story was? Because it was kind of okay. So this is the story. The story is about a samurai who has lost his way because his master killed himself or whatever, and he gets given the quest to take a girl to another doctor because she's acquired some powers, and then like shit happens along the way. Right? That's kind of the gist of it.
Sure.
Right? I mean, am I wrong? Am I missing stuff that's like any like huge bullet points? No. And she's what is she? She's got powers, and there's a big bad who wants to drain her powers so they can take over the world or reincarnate or live forever. I don't fucking know. It's not really clear.
It was not clear. Bad guy wants her powers because they're big powers.
Yeah. And not just big powers, the biggest powers anyone's ever seen, right?
Yeah, she's got like power readings that are off the charts.
Yeah.
Right away, it's established she's strong. And then the next episode, she's like fully utilizing her powers, even though they had no idea what the fuck the powers were. And she's like, I could just destroy stuff and then I could put it back together. And honestly, I could just do anything and I'm the best.
She did really good on that chase scene. Like she's like running on wires. I was like, wow, for a sickly kid who was, at death's door. Yeah,
she was like dying. And then she kills her mom on accident. Like, that's how little control she has over the powers. And then she's not even fucking sad about it. And then she goes on to, like, fully utilize her powers. You would think that they would be like, oh, yeah, since she killed her mom using the powers, she's going to struggle with the powers because there's the thing. No, fuck that.
I do really like, I really do like the line after everything is resolved. By the way, the good guys win, the bad guys lose. Blah, right? Who fucking would have thunk it? She goes back to her village and she's like, "You sure should come back? People think I'm okay." He's like, "It's fine, we should come back." And her friend, who we met in the earlier the first part of the show or whatever, he's like has a head injury and like crutches because like she fucking mega boosted him away. And he goes like, she's like nervous to talk to him, and he goes, "You hit me with a psychic blast and like knocked me out, and you think that we're not friends anymore?" And she's like, "Oh my god, I'm so happy." I'm like, "Oh yeah, they fucking got me. They really got me there." The whole like he was pretending to be mad, but he wasn't mad. I was like,
dude, shout out to like, Johnny Young Bosch for selling the fuck out of that line, right?
I was thinking more like, yo, dude, she's got psychic powers. That is a huge deal, right? Like, I get that she's still your friend, but this is still an issue. She fucking mind blasted you, and you can barely walk now. Oh, and they let her move in with them, right?
She also had healing powers.
Yeah,
she could have just fucking healed him right then and there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's been able to do everything else without even trying, so why wouldn't she be able to do that?
Why didn't she just stay with the monks that were supposed to train her? Is her training done? Is she just...
She's the most powerful thing that there's ever been that has that power.
Yeah. Okay. The main character says he has to go somewhere. He goes to the grave of that chick.
Dude,
that samurai chick from before. We're at spoilers. And he returns her sword to that girl's younger brother, and he's just like, dude, I can't believe this is her story. It's like, yeah. He goes like, were you with her when it happened? He's just like, yep, she died with honor. And when he says that, he means, oh, I killed her, but I can't tell you that because it hurt your feelings. And then he disappears. And then there's just a shot of him like super mad chilling in like a forest. He's like older, not even that much older, but he's happy. It's like, cool, this is it. And I hope that's it. I hope that's really the end. I hope there's no more to this because I personally, like I said, don't want to watch more of this show. It was fine. But if there's like a second season, I guess we'll check it out. But it feels like this was just a mini series. Like this was 6 and done, and we're never going to come back to it. Ratings wise, like people, haven't been giving it too much love. So who knows if it would get picked up for more anyways. But Netflix, does like to surprise people. So
it was surprising to me. The second that I started seeing reviews of this, I was like, oh yeah, we're in it.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching it.
Yeah, it's if you like anime, this is for sure anime. Go check it out.
Yeah, man. Well, I don't have much else to say about it. I think I voiced my opinion. The animation did look good. The music was fucking killer. It really just needed better characters and story.
Yeah.
Everything had potential.
Yeah.
I think is the biggest. That's always the problem with anime like this. It's like, you know what, man? There was a lot of potential, and it just didn't live up to anything.
Yeah. Like, it's always like, this could have been good if they did these things better. But it's too late, right?
It's too late, though. It's too late.
Yeah. Well, that's it, man. That's the show. We haven't decided what we're doing next week. We'll figure it out, though. Right?
Yeah,
that's right. If you like our theme song, check out Not Mars on Spotify. Trip, where can people find us?
Facebook, look up the Instagram podcast. Instagram, look up the Instagram podcast. Twitter, tweet at InstantRamenPod.
Podcast didn't fit.
And you can shoot us an email, instantRamenPodcast@gmail.com. We stream on Twitch every week while we're recording, sometime between 8 and 9 Pacific time. And that's at twitch.tv/Crispather.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for hanging out. This has been a chill-ass episode.
Yeah, again, this is just our opinion. If you like this show, do good on you. I hope you had a great time. Don't send us any mad emails because we don't care.
So. Yeah, or you can because we don't care.
We don't care. Yeah.
If you're mad, just stop.
If you're mad, just stop being mad. Just go leave a nice review on IMDb or whatever. I don't know where the fuck you review shit. Anyways, this is bye from Juan.
I'll see you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.